Yo, what is up, guys? This is Troy D from the Troy D 24/7 Mall channel, your source for on point and no hype reviews. We are back yet again, everybody. We're back with another fragrance review right here, guys, on my lovely day off. It is currently raining here in Los Angeles. It's still pretty cold. Fall, winter fragrances are still very much in play, guys. So we're gonna bridge into spring, summer very soon. But right now, guys, it's still deathly cold out there. Now, today, we're back at the house of Xerjoff. This is one of my favorite niche houses out there, known for its versatility and its wide range of fragrances, guys. But today, we're not really going to talk about a new fragrance per se, but we are going to talk about a Harrods anniversary edition of one of their most beloved fragrances, most sold fragrances of all time. Hope you guys are excited. Now, before I continue, please do not forget to like and subscribe, guys, okay? Liking, subscribing, and watching the ads is a great big deal to this channel, especially that we are headed towards 20,000 subscribers. We're so near. I think we're under 100. It might happen today, it might happen tomorrow. But either way, thank you very much for your support over the past 3 years. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for everything. And the fragrance that we'll be talking about today is none other than the Harrods exclusive anniversary edition of Xerjoff Alexandria II. Yes, Xerjoff Alexandria II. Special anniversary edition, the Harrods 6th floor exclusive, guys. Now, the good news is that this fragrance isn't really a 6th floor exclusive. It's actually available online, both on the Xerjoff website as well as Harrods. I think we're past those days already, like the boutique exclusives that you have to actually go there. I think we're well past that. Given where the economy is going, you know, they're pretty lucky to have collectors paying up $500 for perfumes, guys. Okay, so anyways, this fragrance, Alexandria II, the OG, let's do a quick recap. That fragrance really was a hit in FragCom, and it's actually supposed to be like a Middle Eastern, really niche scent, but really it started bridging into the mainstream primarily because the notes of Alexandria II were really well-beloved mainstream notes, namely lavender, rose, cinnamon, apple, a photorealistic rosewood note, as well as some amber, guys. And the fusion of these notes really created a fragrance that was semi-uplifting, ambery, spicy, and it was something that was really safe that other people could actually wear, but you could still feel the special niche quality of Alexandria II, even if it was really safe and nice, and it was like perfect for the fall-winter season, guys, okay? One of the best ambery fragrances out there with a unique spin. Now, this fragrance is the anniversary celebration of that great fragrance. Now, on paper, you will see some similar notes that the anniversary edition has with the OG Alexandria II, but of course, you are going to see some changes, guys, okay? Some of the mainstream lovable notes of this fragrance, well, they're gone. You know, we're talking about the apple, the cinnamon, even that photorealistic rosewood is actually gone. And they replaced that with, well, a bunch of other notes and oud, okay? Some Indonesian oud is right here in the anniversary edition. Now, of course, if you are familiar with Harrods, which is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, most luxurious department store in all of London, England, then you know that they do have a very significant, rich buyer base. Really wealthy people shop there for anniversary perfumes, especially with oud, okay? Especially with Middle Eastern oud. I mean, there's a reason why there's a 6th floor in Harrods just for perfumes. That is not the perfume spot really in Harrods. There's a 1st floor perfume spot, but there's a 6th floor perfume spot for the boutiques, for the ones that are willing to spend, you know, well over $400 on a single fragrance, guys. So it is understandable to me, as someone that goes to Harrods, understands it, that the anniversary edition of Alexandria II would have oud in it and would be geared towards the wealthy audience, the wealthy buyers of perfumes. Anyways, let's find out how different this is from the original Alexandria II. I mean, really, we'll compare it and I'll go over the changes, the notes, I'll break down everything. I'll give you guys my feedback on the initial performance, the overall longevity, as well as, answer the question, is this fragrance worth the price? Over 580 euros. Wow, 600 something dollars for this fragrance. Is it worth it for a full bottle? And will it be safe enough for my mainstream friends out there? Let's go spray this thing right now. Ooh. Okay, guys, now let's talk about Xerjoff Alexandria II Anniversary. Can't wait to give you guys my feedback. Now, right here in the opening notes, I mean, you have the following, and this is by the scent that I got the moment I sprayed this fragrance. You're going to get the classic lavender rose combo. Now, instead of the cinnamon spice, you are going to get cardamom spice. And then you have the early appearance of the oud, which really is there to replace the, I would say, uplifting rosewood that is in the OG, guys. Okay, so the thing I'm going to say about the intro of Alexandria II is that it's pretty much Alexandria II. I mean, really, by spraying this, you can really see how important the lavender is and the rose is in really creating that signature Alexandria II smell. It's got the semi-uplifting, spicy lavender. It's got this base of sultry rose, but then again, without the apple and cinnamon. And instead of those two notes, you have the spice of cardamom, guys, which is really not much different. It's still spicy and sweet, but it is a lot more subtle than the apple and cinnamon. And maybe some mainstream people will actually like the spike of apple and cinnamon, a more pronounced sweet note, a tart spike. But here it is much more smoother with the spice, the sweet spice of cardamom. Now, this intro to Alexandria II Anniversary Edition, in my opinion, is not that far off from the original in terms of the scent profile. The moment you spray this, you're going to be like, this is still Alexandria II. It's very much Alexandria II, guys. And the big difference, like I said, I feel like it's much smoother on the spices, on the gradient. And of course, the biggest thing that changes everything is the appearance of that oud. Now, again, in place of that rosewood, that semi-uplifting dry rosewood that you get with the OG Alexandria II, you get instead some Tarakan oud, some Indonesian oud is placed here. And it is a prominent oud note, of course. Why would it not be? It's an anniversary edition for Harrods. This oud right here is described as an oud note with some rich leathery facets and a really prominent musky feel, guys. And that's exactly what I got with the appearance of the oud here. Now, the oud here is also blended with some semi-animalic sweaty notes, such as cumin and civet. Now, that only increases the aroma, the semi-animalic aroma of this oud. But the oud itself, in my opinion, is really musky and leathery and woody. And it's a nice replacement, in my opinion, a nice opulent replacement for the rosewood, guys. And again, this is not uncommon, putting in a rich, woody, musky oud note as a gradient to really create that anniversary edition, the Middle Eastern opulent edition, actually, with the addition of the oud and some sweaty cumin, some civet. But here's the thing, guys. The thing I'm going to say about this oud is that it is not really offensive. I know that there's one review on Fragrantica saying that it smelled like manure or yada, yada, yada. Let me tell you guys that it is not, okay? The oud is more on the leathery, woody side, musky side. And my wife, who is my oud meter, she is the one that can really notice if an oud is really overstepping its bounds into animalic barnyard territory that she doesn't like. Well, she never said anything about this oud part of Alexandria II. Not one thing, even when I sprayed this multiple times around her, guys. So she's kind of like my oud meter. This oud is non-offensive. It's really nice. Again, this is the Middle Eastern opulent version, and it does come with some super rich notes from top to bottom. So it's really well blended in as well. Now, speaking of rich notes, you've got a rich orris note. Yes, orris, which is a nice, sweet, warming, powdery note that is usually in a lot of opulent fragrances, guys. Now, here in this fragrance, it is warming, it is well blended in, it lends a sweet side to Alexandria II Anniversary, so you really don't miss the apple, the cinnamon right here, because you've got the cardamom, you still have the classic elements of lavender and rose. You've got orris that matches that very opulent oud that pops out in the beginning of Alexandria II. I like the appearance of orris right here. Now, when it comes to the initial performance, the initial sillage and projection of Alexandria II Anniversary, of course, this fragrance is not going to disappoint. It is not a beast by all means. However, it is what I would call Middle East competitive, where everybody there wears very strong perfumes. Now, it is very potent, that I will say, but it is really a thick, warming aura scent with a scent trail that is sure to captivate people around you guys. But I think for the wearer, there's something about the mix of the musky, oudi notes with the classic Alexandria formula, the smoother spice of cardamom with the orris, not as spiky as the apple cinnamon, that really makes it smooth and opulent and upscale. Like, as you wear this, you know you're wearing Alexandria too, but at the same token, you feel the opulence that this fragrance was intended for. Okay, now let's head into the mid of Xerjoff's Alexandria II Anniversary. Now, this mid right here is undoubtedly the longest coverage out of all the stages of this fragrance, guys. I mean, this is really another piece of the puzzle that Alexandria II is known for. This is the ambery sweet side with the woodiness. Now, the oud, like I said, is pretty potent. It's got enough woodsiness and some muskiness for the gradient right here in the mid. But then here in the mid as well, you have a bunch of aromatic herbal notes, okay? You have some cypriol oil, you have some wormwood, you have some clary sage. These are kind of like the spikes that kind of like replace the spicy element of Alexandria II, as it is ambery. So it is going to be ambery, woody, very much like Alexandria II, with some really nice counter notes, some herbal counter notes of, like I said, wormwood, clary sage, really lingering in the back. But again, it still feels like Alexandria II, sweet, ambery, woody. That is the mid, and it goes a really, really long way. Now, the oud, let me tell you, goes up to 4 hours. Okay, it is a 4-hour oud, as in the actual leathery, oudy profile. You can smell it prominently for a good 4 hours of this fragrance. And then after 4 hours, as you're still smelling the ambery side of things, I mean, it gets much more gentler as it goes with some of those herbal notes. Now, eventually, the oud note, which is accompanied, like I said, with some cumin and civet and cypriol oil, that whole deal eventually will fade away. I would say in the 5-hour mark, but that doesn't mean Alexandria II Anniversary loses its woodsy profile, guys. So after that, you've got the transition from oud to some sweet, creamy, and photorealistic sandalwood, guys. And if you love sandalwood, you do understand how that's a lot smoother eventually, a lot more creamy and smoother than, you know, the oud note, which was really rich and semi-animalic with the cumin. Now, this one right here is some creamy, nice sandalwood on the dry down. And it is accompanied by some sweet vanilla, which also takes over from the amber. And then you will still have some musk. Now, one thing I'll note here on the dry down is that you will still get some herbal tinges. Maybe it's from the clary sage or the wormwood, but definitely the spice component, which was replaced by the herbal components, are still going to be there in the dry down. So it's not necessarily super smooth. There is still going to be some spikes of herbaceousness in the dry down of this fragrance. But nevertheless, sandalwood, vanilla, and musk really comprise the dry down of this fragrance. Okay, now here's my feedback on this fragrance, Xerjoff Alexandria II Anniversary. First and foremost, in my opinion, this fragrance is really not that far off from the OG Xerjoff Alexandria II. Okay, so for those fans of the OG, you will still get the most notable elements of Alexandria II in this fragrance. It's not an entirely different fragrance because it still has your prominent lavender, your rose, your amber, your woods, your spices. They're all here. And it really feels like you're still really wearing Alexandria II. Now, the big difference, like I said, is that, of course, they made this an enhancement, a Middle Eastern enhancement with the oud, with some animalics, some slight animalics right here, and some richer notes, again, orris right here, because, in my opinion, they're targeting the rich and wealthy customers that go buy Harrods and go to buy these Middle Eastern expensive $500 scents. Okay, that is my opinion, especially that I've been to Harrods quite a few times and in other luxury department stores in London, Fortnum and Mason, Selfridges. I mean, it smells like Dubai over there. That's what I can say. You go to the perfume department, it smells like Dubai. There's a lot of Middle Eastern customers that go down there. I believe this fragrance was geared for that customer. Now, if you love Middle Eastern fragrances, if this is nothing new to you and you do collect some Middle Eastern fragrances, some enhancements, I think you will like this, because this is truly, in my opinion, an anniversary edition, okay? Which means you still get to enjoy the original, but it's just the fancy Arab chic version of it, you know? And you will get the prominent oud, still safe, again, very safe in my opinion, but it really feels like it's much more upscale. And with that being said, this fragrance, in my opinion, is an upscale grabber. I mean, Alexandria II to me is an upscale grabber as well, but it's more usable. It's more mainstream usable. This one right here, I mean, if you are really going to a lot of upscale places and you use Middle Eastern fragrances for that purpose with the richness of oud and other notes that are here in this fragrance, then you will love this. This is something that you can wear in those occasions, again, as an upscale grabber. Definitely fall winter, because it's warming, it's very cozy. The moment you spray it and you have all those warming notes envelope you from the amber, the orris, the oud, the vanilla. I mean, these are really some nice, cozy, very comforting and classy notes here in this fragrance. And also, this fragrance is very unisex. It's very unisex, guys. I think that guys and girls will have a really nice time, or anybody in between will have a really nice time wearing this fragrance. I wouldn't say it necessarily leans masculine just because there's an oud note there, because there's still enough ambery sweetness that's here in this fragrance that I think anyone can really enjoy. Now, total performance on Alexandria II Anniversary Edition, as expected, is over 12 hours. It's over 12 hours. Definitely a long-lasting fragrance right here. I would say significant scent is maybe 10 to 11, because really the latter dry down, again, is smoother than the first part, which is really rich. It's like really rich in the beginning and the mid, guys, which is the longest coverage. But in the latter dry down, it becomes smooth and sweet as it heads to its latter hours. So again, total performance over 12, significant 10 to 11. And when it comes to the price, guys, 580 euros, is it worth it? Really, in my opinion, it is, because if you look at the retail, not the discounter price version of Alexandria II, it's about 500 as well. For a full bottle, 100 ml. This fragrance is, I believe, 580 euros for 100 ml. So if you are a collector, and you're looking for these anniversary editions that are supposed to be more opulent and rich than the OGs, Alexandria II Anniversary Edition is definitely worth a bottle. If you like Middle Eastern scents, it's no question. You can actually skip and go to the Anniversary Edition and not buy yourself the backup bottle or the OG Alexandria II. Now, the OG Alexandria II, you can purchase for less. There are discounters. There are people that really don't like it and they sell it really for much less than retail. So you can always get that, guys. But really, you gotta know what this anniversary edition is for. It's the most opulent version of Alexandria II for Middle Eastern scent lovers. And, it is a Harrods special edition for a reason, guys. Okay, so really nice bottle, really nice full bottle worthy Middle Eastern scent. I think it's worth it, guys. And that is it. That is my no hype review on Xerjoff's Alexandria II Anniversary Edition. Let me know in the comments what you think. If you've tried this fragrance, I really liked it. I mean, especially that I like Middle Eastern perfumes. How did you guys like it? Was it safe for you or not? Especially the oud component of this fragrance. Let me know in the comments below. And again, please do not forget to like and subscribe, guys, as we head towards 20K. It might happen today or tomorrow, guys. But definitely, I will be doing a giveaway on my Instagram, TroyD247. Make sure you follow that as well as the channel for a chance to get a giveaway of one of my most prized bottles somewhere here in the back, guys. So thank you so much for your support. I'll see you guys on the next video. God bless. Take care. Peace.